Welcome back to another episode of It's Always Scrummy Paul. We've got a special episode. The podcast has gone on tour, so we've got much to talk about. Let's get down to business. Hello and welcome back to another episode. It's Sunday evening here, but actually might not be Sunday evening for you. Well, it's definitely not because it goes live every Monday at 6 o'clock. Good morning to those dog walkers. I know there's people dog walking at 6 o'clock in the morning listening to this. I know people are mowing the Brickfields lawns listening to this. I know people are listening to doing maths homework and listening to this podcast. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you sign up to Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. Sign up to the socials, Instagram, Facebook. It's Always Scrummy in Plymouth. It's the number one fans podcast in National League One rugby. It's the 37th biggest rugby podcast in the UK right now. So coming up on the show, I'm going to be talking about Plymouth Albion's game at Rosslyn Park. I've got a special guest who attended the game that's going to be giving some analysis on the game itself at Rosslyn Park. I'll be talking about the other fixtures in National League One and how that has affected the league table. We're talking about the future fixtures, who have Albion got next, and how that could potentially shape the league moving forward. So I was away at rugby headquarters watching the rugby championship game between Argentina and South Africa. I'll be slightly discussing that and what is it like? What's Twickenham like? What good things are there? What bad things? What could we inherit really at Plymouth Albion that's positive about going to Rugby HQ? And on top of that, again, we'll be, as usual, listening to the fans' point of view. What have the fans been saying? What have the fans been saying to me? What have they been saying just on social media in general? And then again, we have got Livy with some fun novice rugby facts coming up. So a lot to get through. This weekend then, huge Battle of the Titans at the top of National League One. Plymouth Albion were away to Rosslyn Park, famous for their 5G pitch, always a tough place to go. Unfortunately for Albion, they have lost their perfect start to the season. They went down 29 points to 14 away at Rosslyn Park, so didn't manage to get a losing bonus point, didn't manage to get a try bonus point, and Rosslyn Park did manage to get a try bonus point, so they maintain their perfect records. So, the first bump in the road for Plymouth Albion this season, and I wasn't there. Does that just say that I'm obviously a good omen for the side? When I'm there, they win. They win convincingly. However, I had a couple of my bestest friends went to the game, and I'm going to get some feedback from them. But I was at rugby headquarters, as I said, watching the rugby championship. And despite watching a world-class game of rugby, my head was there with the Albion guys, wanting to know what was going on. So before I sort of play a video of an interview of me and my friends, getting some analysis of the game, he'd be also talking about his experiences with Plymouth Albion. Just a few examples of some messages I was receiving on the day. So I'd messaged my friend James saying, "Did you make it to the game?" His response was, "Yeah, the bar service here is very slow. I think Rosslyn Park have just scored a try, but I'm not too sure." And I was like, "Oh, nice." And then he says, "Confirmed, 5-0. And that was within the first minute of the game. So, yeah, the analysis you're going to be getting in a second, it's not, maybe not the usual standard. I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Another message just before halftime, 12-0. I've missed both tries. Will be in Albion's favour the second half. So another friend of mine responded with, "Big queue at the bar?" And his response was, "No, just zoned out, to be fair." So yeah, this is the analysis we're really going to be having from all of this. But it's great. I've got a group chat with my mates discussing all things Plymouth Albion. And that's really what's inspired this podcast. But anyway, let's get actually hearing from a fan's point of view what happened at the game, because I'm intrigued as you guys are. I'm actually joined by a friend, but my friend Ed here was at Rosslyn Park. So welcome, Ed. Welcome. Before we get going, talk me about your relationship with Plymouth Albion.
Well, firstly, let's just say I'm a long-time listener to It's Always Scrummy Paul. First-time contributor. My relationship, I suppose, dates back, probably decades now, really. One of my first memories is going to Speaking Park. Probably at the age of 9 or 10. Tom Barlow, Byhall, Will James in the second row.
But actually, for those, because I've got listeners in Indonesia, I've got listeners in the Netherlands. So we thought the theme park days. What level of rugby? What was sort of
What level? They were probably like. It's embarrassing. Maybe they were like nat 2, nat 1. I don't know how the leagues were up in those days. I mean, I was about 10 years old.
proper class?
I mean,
Level rugby though.
I wouldn't say they're in the trenches, but this is this is like you say, grassy rugby. They were a local rugby club for the fans.
You've been through it thick and thin.
Yeah, but they had that incredible run. And now they got promoted like 2 or 3 times in bounce up the championship.
A new stadium came, the fancy brick was got now.
Yeah.
And you were there from the beginning, you're here now.
Right, I wouldn't say I was there in the beginning at all, actually. I mean, the Albion goes back probably to the early 1900s. I don't know.
What made you want to go to this Rosslyn Park game this weekend, Mike?
Well, it's really convenient for me. I mean, really.
Do you manage to get yourself to many away games, so that up London based one?
Yeah, I do. I've been to Richmond away. I mean, it's Rosslyn Park many times away.
Nice.
Tunbridge, that's the car this year.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Blackheath, certainly Lions against that one.
Amazing.
Um,
So if it's up in the southeast, you're there.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
You're there, waving the flag for Plymouth Albion. You're there.
Yeah, and when I'm back home in Plymouth as well, I'll when I can, I'll go to those games.
Amazing. So I couldn't get to the game this weekend because I was at Rugby HQ at Twickenham watching. Something to say. Actually, it's a podcast there, so I've got to say it's at Allianz Stadium. I was there watching the old South Africa Argentina. So you were there. So I have purely eyes on you. So I'm here today asking about your fans' point of view. That's the thing here. It's a fans' view about the game. So talk me through. How did the first half go? How did the first half go?
Unfortunately, some train difficulties when I was probably about 5 minutes late. So I missed the first try, and I turned up and it was 5-0 to Boston.
That's never a good start, is it?
No, it wasn't. No. But what I can tell you is that it was extremely tough conditions. Rosslyn Park today. Very windy, which meant basically the first half. Well, in my opinion, it was a little bit of a write-off. There's a lot of mistakes on both sides.
In the first half, would you say the advantage had been to Rosslyn or would it have been to Albion?
Oh, for sure. I think it was Rosslyn Park's advantage. I mean, I actually said it was to one of our friends here. There was a 15-point win. In my opinion, and actually Rosslyn Park winning with a 12-0 lead into the break.
So the second try, when was that? Was that
right towards the end of the first half? To be fair, Albion they actually were a bit of cash for a good portion of that first half actually, and they couldn't really clear lines because of the wind actually. They couldn't kick. They were trying to. They were playing out from that a lot.
So the main thing for me is seeing a lot of Albion is they've based the game from a solid scrum. The line out has been a weakness in the past, but the line outs are pretty solid. But actually, Albion this season have been a really expansive brand in rugby. How did the conditions affect that? Were they able, because Rosslyn Park, as you know, so you've been there, they've got an all-weather pitch. How did that go down that first half? To sort of play their natural game? Or?
To be honest, I've not watched Albion play this season, so I've all over maybe able to gather is from your fine work as podcast. But obviously the line-out was tricky for both teams.
It was a debut. It was a starting debut for. I actually can't remember saying, but ex-team player.
They did miss a few line-outs. Both teams did. I mean, basically they might have to attack was going to the front.
Yeah.
Because going beyond that was lethargic.
Yeah.
What it meant is that they were feeling line, or it was
a free for all.
Yeah, or it was absolute free for all, or it was not straight because it was just difficult. But it was. I wouldn't say it was a certainly first, it wasn't a really flowing game.
Albion didn't manage to get that past the game going to the back.
It was a very slop start.
And how did things change in the second half? So half time was the score. What's the score?
12-0 half time.
12-0 half time. So 0 first half.
Yep.
And then half, how did things go then?
So then Albion's player came up flying first half.
Yep.
Put a bit of pressure on. First 25 minutes. It was a number of effective penalties, at which there was yellow card. From memory, there was yellow card most of the time.
Yeah.
And Albion scored off that result of the penalty. Kept it very tight, kicked and go, threw them in, and then there was a tiny offload. And I think one of the centres went over. They put a lot of pressure on. They probably had most of the ball, to be fair. Albion conceded another the other side.
But you messaged me on WhatsApp while I was at the game, and you said to me that Albion are starting to crumble and get the custard out. Was this around this point?
It's probably around that point. So I think that was probably after Rosslyn Park's fourth try. I think they made it 26. Yeah, 26-7 at that point. And it seemed as if the floodgates might open, having those 14 men. It looks like they could have run over a bit. Fair. I've been pulled down together a bit.
Would you say from the game that today you saw, would you say the best team won?
I think that's probably fair. Certainly from I didn't have them to hand, but the possession and the territory. Maybe play the conditions a bit better as well. I mean, to be fair, because Rosslyn Park in the second half, they were playing into what was a very heavy wind.
Yeah.
And I thought that would probably play into.
It's sometimes a bit of an advantage that the team knows what the team are.
Yeah.
But thank you, Dan, for the show, Eds. Really appreciate it.
So a big thank you to my good friend Ed. Therefore, it's not easy. It's not easy, and it's very unusual chatting to your friend about having a microphone in front of your face and just actually talking. It's very difficult. I think you did a fantastic job, and hopefully you guys really appreciate that as well. Really great to hear someone else's point of view, and actually really nice chatting and catching up with a friend about Albion and the good old days. I think really that was a really tough game for Plymouth Albion. Going away and to a 5G pitch is never easy. It's a completely different ball game. I've read rumours somewhere that one of the Rosslyn Park players is on 40 grand. So, we're competing really with some big boys there. Looking through their team, there was a try that went around on social media from the Blackheath game by Luke Meeson. Anyway, looking at his CV, played for Ealing, played for Chiefs, played for Wasps under Ian Blackett. They've got some serious talent there. I think it's not a bad result, that. But yeah, onwards and upwards. So looking at the other results in National 1. So Bishop Stortford 15, Sedgley Park 30. So I was surprised about that. I said to you guys on the podcast the other day, I believe Bishop Stortford are a big banana skin, and I'm still convinced that they will scalp one of the big teams and make them drop points. But surprisingly, because Sedgley have got off to a tricky start. Clifton 17, Sale 24. So Sale just chipping away now. Sale chipping away, getting a few wins and climbing the league. Dings 31, Blackheath 36. So really tight game there. Blackheath again though, getting over the line. Leeds Tykes 7, Rams 19. So another win for the Rams, but not managing to get that bonus point. And then another eye-opening result here. Leicester Lions 25, Rotherham 41. So 3 tries to 7 tries. Rotherham are absolutely try-scoring machines. They just cannot stop scoring. Rosslyn Park 29, Albion 14. And then Tonbridge 31, Birmingham 17. So another impressive win for Tonbridge. So look at the league table then. So Rotherham and Rosslyn Park are the only 2 teams now with perfect records. So Rotherham are top just because they've got a huge points difference from all the tries they're scoring. Blackheath, so they're both on 25 points. Blackheath on 21 points. They managed to get a losing bonus point last week. Albion on 20. Rams very close behind on 19. And as I said, Sale on 18. I've not mentioned Sale, but they're just chipping away. Tonbridge 16, Sedgley 14. Then it's a big jump down. Bishop Stortford and Dings both on 8 points. Clifton on 6, Birmingham 5, Leicester on 1, and Leeds Tykes are still on 0 points. So moving into next week, a few really interesting sort of games. So Blackheath at home to Tonbridge. So, Tonbridge, it's been quite unpredictable, but still a really good team. And Blackheath still going strong at the top league. Leeds versus Clifton. So 2 of the bottom teams. Albion are home to Dings. Dings have been getting some positive results. That's not going to be an easy one, but hopefully the Albion boys will be proper up for that. Then we've got the Rams are home to Birmingham. And then the big eye-opening one is Rotherham versus Rosslyn Park. So I think that's going to be the one to really look closely at. Rotherham scoring tries of fun. Rosslyn Park have had Blackheath, Albion, and now Rotherham. So we'll find out one of these teams will leave their perfect record and one can probably continue. But if Rosslyn Park can come out of that with a victory, that's going to be a huge statement. And as I said, they would have played the three of the top other teams. And if they could defeat all 3 of them, that would make a huge statement for the rest of the division. Then there's Sale and Bishop Stortford, and then Sedgley Park and Leicester Lions. So really interesting week there. And again, it's really fascinating to see how that league now is developing. I think there's a really high standard of rugby, and it's really starting to take shape now. Fans news. So what the fans been saying on social media then? Let's have a little look. So you don't get as much content on the away days, but there's a few comments. So one comment here, bit disappointing really. We need to be taking at least a point away from these games. And I guess that it's strong words that, but you got a point there. So Albion, first half conceding within like first minute and then conceding just before the second half. They just sort of held out a little bit there. I know it's easier said than done, but it could have been a very sort of different game. But Albion have gone down to 4th now because Blackheath managed to get that losing bonus point. Those points really make a huge difference, and hopefully it doesn't become costly towards the end of the season. Another comment. Tough result today, but heads up. Every setback is just fuel for a stronger comeback. It's a bit deep, that, isn't it? It's very much very live, laugh, love. You can imagine that being sold in the range, couldn't you, on a bit of cheap plastic that looks like words as an inspirational quote. Every setback is just fuel for a stronger comeback. Yeah, a bit of a random comment really for a fan on a Plymouth Albion result. A long one here and very informative. Winning the toss probably was the most decisive thing that happened in the match. Albion faced a gale force wind blowing straight down the pitch. However, the team defended well and only conceded 2 tries in the first half. Towards half-time, it was clear that the gale was subsiding, and by the restart, it was down to a strong breeze. The game was even more in the second half due to the change in winds. However, Albion failed to make best use of what wind there was in the second half. So the conditions had a huge effect, really. So I imagine that person was at, or sounds like they were at the game. But that's experience. Going away from home is tough. And again, a 5G pitch. Why have they got a 5G pitch at Rosslyn Park as well? It's not like they're playing in Inverness. They're not in the Hebrides, are they? Why have they got a 5G pitch? But yeah, who knows? That's down to them. I guess it must be a money thing. And a comment, actually, interestingly, the comment from Ryan Lamb at the end of the game. He said, really proud of the players' effort in the very testing conditions. Our pen count and a few errors in good positions cost us. Congratulations, Rosslyn Park, on a good win, and we look forward to return fixture. So just straight to the point, sounds like a few too many pens, and yeah, the win had a huge part in the whole game. So not comments here on social media about on the Albion ones, but a few more just posted to Scrummy Paul, really. So the day in the life of Scrummy Paul. I've got a really nice sort of fan base here who are really sort of enjoying the podcast, and it makes it all really worthwhile. So a few comments here. Really enjoying listening to podcasts. Going to be a tough game tomorrow. So again, yeah, thank you. This is fans podcast. Really, really appreciate you guys getting involved in it. Had a message from Plymouth Albion actually. So it's all to do really with what I was saying about Spotlight. But it was nice being posted saying some media positives for you to follow on. So I was very highly critical about how maybe a lot of local press is not covering Albion, and I've just been made aware of a few positives locally. So Ferndale Radio, I've never heard of this before. So Ferndale Radio have Albion Hour every week. So doing a bit of research now. Thursdays 6 to 7 p.m. their Ferndale Radio do an Albion show. So I've not listened to this. I'm going to tune in this week. But yeah, that's great. That's a thing. And then again, Ocean City Radio, Thursdays 8 till 10. So Thursdays, again, you've got potentially back-to-back radio shows here. They have the Ocean City Radio Sports Show where they talk about Plymouth Albion again. So 2 local radio stations bigging up Albion, which is great to hear. And then on top of that, the Plymouth Chronicle and then one Plymouth have weekly posts. So yeah, check those out. Keep supporting these people. If they're sort of talking about Plymouth Albion, give it a listen. I did actually contact both these radio stations, sort of saying, doing a fans podcast, would love to have a chat with you guys, or be good for you to help promote this, and I could promote you guys. They got zero interest. They don't want to talk to me. They're just like, nah. So I could sort of say boycott that, but no, I want you guys. We need to all be supporting each other. But hopefully at some point we can get as many fans, myself talking to these people, because I'm passionate about Albion. They're clearly passionate about Albion. I'm not trying to nick their listeners. I want people to listen to as much Plymouth Albion, engage with as much Plymouth Albion content as possible. Give them a listen, guys, and hopefully one day I can have a proper chit chat and a chinwag, and talk about how I want to get people more involved with Albion. A comment on the socials, so by a familiar name, Jensen Borton. So front rower for Plymouth Albion, bit of a sort of a legend, really. Lots of posts about what a witty guy he is. So what has he said here? He said Gabe Mead said he's up for an appearance on the pod, mate. He's free this weekend. Unfortunately, I was away. I was a bit busy. But yeah, Jensen Borton's chucking Gabe Mead under the bus a bit there. No response from that. I responded to this. What an opportunity to this. So I had to take it. I said, Jensen Borton, is this you volunteering to become my agent? And I got a swift response saying, 100% mate. I've already had a few lads asking about it. Harry Legg, Morganstone, Jack Alton, Archie Hill. So yeah, does this mean the Albion players are listening to the podcast? Great. We know we know Albion themselves listen. We've got Max Venables, the director of the company, mowing the Brickfields lawn, listening to the podcast. Great to hear that the players are potentially listening to this. Am I being mocked with these comments? Maybe. I don't know. Am I a bit of a meme? Quite possibly. But again, just want people to enjoy Albion. So I really hope one day that I can get and have a bit of a chinwag of the players. I know the Plymouth Albion podcast are doing all that as well, but it'd be good as a fan just to sort of have a sit down and ask them a few different questions. So hopefully I can get some better technology, and one day, lads, would love to have a chinwag with you guys and ask you lots of fan perspective type questions. And then speaking about the Plymouth Albion podcasts, one of the hosts of the show kind of commented on just loads of posts. So, I got a bit of stick about how one of the shorter had said boycott. I'm not saying boycott that podcast. It was just meant to be eye-catching and controversial. And the comedy said, it would be very unfortunate for Albions not to listen to official podcasts. The club has tried to give some insight to players, staff and volunteers to get to know them rather than game or up-to-date opinion on how the season is going. In many ways, the decision was made because it's difficult to put official stuff out that isn't unbiased. So we've left the analysis and week-to-week topics up to the unbiased experts like Scrummy Plymouth podcast. So yeah, I am not saying boycott it. It was just a bit of a joke. It's a bit controversial. Just title I had on one of those shorts. But yeah, guys, if you haven't listened to the always no. If you haven't listened to Fish Podcast, give it a listen. You're going to find out a lot about the players. They've all had really, really interesting rugby careers. So give it a listen. And also listen to this, because this is the #1 official fans podcast and the best one in the National League. Interesting bit of the comment at the end there said, and week to week topics up to the unbiased experts. I am by no means an expert. I am so far from that. Hopefully that wasn't a sarcastic comment as well. Hopefully that wasn't passive aggressive. But yes, I am not an expert. I'm just someone who's interested in Albion and want to sort of raise the profile a little bit and have a bit of fun. Because again, being a sports fan, that's what this is all about. That is all fans news, everybody. I was at Rugby HQ at the Allianz Stadium, or Twickenham, whichever one it is. And the result there was Argentina 27, South Africa 29. And what a fantastic game of rugby this was. A lot of people saying to me, like, why are you going to this game? Well, it's the Rugby Championship. So that is the Southern Hemisphere Six Nations equivalent. And, the South Africa are the best team in the world. And it was really interesting to go there, and it wasn't a sellout. The top tier at Twickenham, that top tier, half of it was empty. But what a different atmosphere. I've been to a few England games before, and it's been described as, Sir Clive Woodward described it as the biggest pub in England. And yeah, there's not much really to argue with that. But to be in this atmosphere with so many South African fans and a lot of Argentinian fans as well, what an incredible atmosphere. So passionate. Every scrum, the noise was absolutely electric. So yeah, really would recommend people sort of keeping an eye out for this fixture in the future and sort of getting themselves to a game, because they didn't sell out. And what a fantastic day that was for me, despite missing the precious Plymouth Albion. I will be not trying to miss too many games this year, but it's really good that I had a couple friends went to Albion, and they had a great time as well. A couple of things that was interesting. So Livy on the podcast was talking about Mexican waves. The Mexican wave at this stadium, where people are getting well into it, people are having a fantastic time going all the way around Twickenham. So it's got me thinking: do we start to create a Mexican wave at the Brickfields in that main stand? I've got this vision. I might be the guy to put my neck on the line and start the Mexican wave and try and get the crowd going. But I have these nightmares of me doing this and just people just not getting behind it. But I think we'll see. We'll see this next weekend. I might try and get it going if I can get a couple of people along to sort of really support me in that. But just really added so much to such a great atmosphere and such a great celebration of rugby. And again, that's what we want at Plymouth Albion, isn't it? We've got this third half that's been introduced last time round, and that sounded like it's been really great. But yeah, we just need a little bit more of a buzz, and that's the fans have got to do that. And Mexican wave, such a simple way of doing it, and man, it brought so much joy to the South African and the Argentina fans. So yeah, loving it. I'm going to try and start for Brickfields. So the Rugby Championship, it meant South Africa won the Rugby Championship because they got the try bonus point victory. So managed to see them lift the trophy as well, which was just a really unusual sort of experience. I don't really know why they're having those fixtures because it was an Argentina home game. I'm not really too sure why they had that fixture at Twickenham, but it's raising the profile of the game, and really great day out. Hello, so I'm joined again by Livy. How you doing, Livs?
Hello, nice to be in the same room today.
Yeah, well, hopefully this does work. After trying that out with Ed, seemed to go pretty well. So yeah, it's nice. So it's a bit more of a sort of interview. So anyway, what have you got for us today?
Today I thought I'd talk about passion. So as you mentioned last week, the Red Roses have recently won the World Cup, which is epic. And I was just thinking about the dedication it takes to get to that level in a sport. And obviously we're talking here about rugby, aren't we?
Of course.
So obviously the Albion players again, they did lose this week, didn't they? But they've done really well up until now. And this, obviously, even when you lose, you have to, it's hard. But I was thinking about times when passion maybe goes a bit too far. So I found a story. I don't know if you've heard about this.
I haven't heard it yet. But I've not heard it yet.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I don't know. I did like a dramatic pause and then I didn't, at the wrong point. Okay. So, 1995 World Cup. it was, who was it? South Africa versus New Zealand. And
Big game.
yeah. Do you know who won? Out of interest?
Well, it would have been South Africa because they won the World Cup in '95.
They did, but only just. It seemed like it was really close. But just before the game, there was a big controversy because loads of the New Zealand players came down ill. And one of the coaches, lots of people in the New Zealand team, said that the South Africans spiked their food or a drink to try.
Okay, I've not heard this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So apparently there's one theory is that there was a waitress called Susie and she was paid to put something in their cups of tea. And from what I read, only 3 players didn't come down ill. And they were the ones that arrived late to the lunch, so they didn't drink the tea.
Yeah. I don't like it when people come out and sort of it's I guess it is kind of making an excuse. It's sort of an excuse. Like you lost a game, just say well done to the other team, and you're there kind of giving out excuses for food and this and that. I don't know how I feel about that. But it is what it is.
And I guess the thing is, they're making out like they were really ill. However, they all played the next day. So then it's like, how?
Yeah, exactly.
Could it be like they were nervous?
Mm.
And then the other one, I found this quite amusing, but like it was, I don't know, when you played rugby, did you have any like very passionate parents?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
So-
you still do now. Like as I went with the Albi travel lot, there's two very passionate parents.
So I'm not sure they would do this though. There was a dad, and he apparently got a bit carried away. And when obviously his child was on the opposing team, and someone on the team that it wasn't his son's team. I'm explaining this really badly. Someone on the team that was
just start again.
Okay. So a dad went to watch his child play rugby, and someone on the opposing team had the ball and was going to get us try, and he just, I imagine it was on the spur of the moment, stuck his leg out and tripped him up, and then got banned from the touchline for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's just interfering with the beautiful game. That's not good, is it?
No.
That's taking things way too far. Taking way too things. Another story about passion was obviously me a couple of years ago when I ranted on Facebook and said that they were in a pub league.
That's true.
A negative version of passion coming through there. So hope that parents had a good hard look in the mirror, just like I did.
Yeah,
that'd be brilliant.
Okay, I thought it was time to quiz you.
Okay.
See what you know. So these are.
I'm still embarrassed about the whole going blind thing. It was just in the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like I was on the spot. So here we go. Let's see how much of a fool you're gonna make yourself again.
Well, I guess if you're going to be in professional sport, you have to be good under pressure, right?
I'm not going into professional sport, Livy. Like my days of rugby are definitely long gone.
Professional podcasting. Okay, are you ready? Okay, I'll start with an easy. I think it's an easy one, but maybe not. Meat pie. Do you know what that is?
Like basic.
It's not what you think it is.
Okay, go on then.
It's not actually a meat pie. A meat pie means a try.
Okay, I've not heard that expression. I mentioned earlier on. Ed said in the text to me, Albion are crumbling. Get the custard out. So that was a new one.
Oh, I've
people nick that.
Okay, if I said the stash, what am I talking about?
Like clothes.
Yeah, so the non-match playing clothing that is associated with playing rugby.
Yeah.
Sheds. Yeah.
No clue.
Term used to describe the changing rooms.
Okay, yeah, I should have known that one.
The paddock, park or patch?
Well, that's the pitch.
Yeah, correct. Ooh, folded.
But they've kind of given up. They've lost.
Is that so?
Buckled under pressure, kind of thing. I
think you could use it in that way, but this person said they heard it used in the sense that when you've hit someone hard in the tackle, absolutely folded him.
Okay, I hear sort of cut in half quite a bit.
Yeah.
Cut in half, or yeah.
The pill.
No clue.
The pill apparently is another term for the rugby ball.
All right. Yep, not heard that one.
Okay, that's all I've got for you today.
I did really badly.
Maybe they're not as commonly
really
used as my.
Have you just made most of those up?
No, I haven't. I found them online, but maybe they're not as commonly used as that person suggests.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for making a fool of me again, Livy. Really appreciate it. That's all from It's Always Scrummy Biff. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Spread the word, please, about this. Tell your friends, tell your family, anyone who supports Plymouth Albion. Let them listen to this. Big shout out to my friend Ed who got involved in this. If you want to get involved in the show somehow, just let us know. I really want this to be sort of fan engaged. I'm looking forward to getting myself back to the Brickfields this weekend. So they're at home to Dings. Hopefully they don't stick the whole Bristol Bears team out like they did last year away from home. But yeah, really looking forward to it, guys. Please follow on the socials. Please give us a 5-star on Spotify if you feel I'm deserving of it. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts. Also available on YouTube. Thanks a lot, guys. Always appreciate it. Albie, Albie, Albie.